Next, for the Northwest region, Randy Kobata, Principal, Lee & Associates, Calabasas.
Thanks, Joe. The Ventura County market is comprised of about 7 sub-markets. We have Westlake Village market on the east end, and if you run west and north, you'll hit Thousand Oaks, Newberry Park, Camarillo, Oxnard, Ventura, Fillmore, Somas, and then the north end, Simi Valley, Moore Park. Long considered the Silicon Valley of the south, we have a large white-collar labor pool with biotech and health insurance companies having a strong presence. Another large industry that's there that you all might be familiar with, that you'll see all in your grocery stores, is we have a big agriculture base, especially in the Oxnard and Camarillo areas. Next slide, please. Much like the rest of Los Angeles and Orange counties, we've seen the vacancy rates increase over the last year. Although we did see transactional velocity improve, but still suggesting that companies are giving back more space than what we're consuming right now. The property base in the Ventura County market is a little bit smaller than most of the markets you're going to hear tonight. About 72 million square feet of industrial, with I'd say probably 18-20% of that focused and located in the Oxnard area, and about 19.5 million square feet of office space. We do have some office submarkets, such in Camarillo, where vacancy rates are pushing north of 20% right now. Over the last year, about average lease rates dropped about 23%, and between 2009 and 2010, average sale rates in the all industrial product dropped about 25%. New construction, as most everybody has seen, is relatively nominal, as financing was relatively non-existent. Next slide. So to kind of go back on the financing, that is one of the indicators of what drove our leasing market, which is the primary activity that we saw this year. And a lot of it had to do with renewals. We did see a lot of blend and extend deals. I think landlords in our marketplace became realistic and realized that if they were going to get income, they had to get aggressive to either retain their tenant base or even lure new tenants out of their properties. Most transactions within this marketplace were from within the county. We didn't see a lot of new companies come in from outside of the market area, and we probably expect to see the same going into 2011. Next slide. The two significant lease transactions that are highlighted here, the first one is the Volkswagen deal. They did a 20-year lease for a build-to-suit facility. It's going to be their new emissions testing R&D facility. They moved from within the county. They came from Westlake Village. One of the reasons why Oxnard was so appealing to them is because of the emissions testing being at sea level was valuable to them. Volkswagen owns Audi, Bugatti, Maserati, Bentley, and Porsche. And so they will be doing basically all of their new emissions testing at this facility. It's not going to be open to the public. But basically with all the new emissions laws and mandates that are being passed, they expect to see significant growth within the next 3 to 5 years at that facility. The other deal on Via Pescador was also another automotive-related deal, which is kind of interesting given everything that we've heard over the last couple of years. Another unique aspect of it is that the company was pulled from Oxnard and went into Camarillo. Camarillo is kind of considered one of a newer area for industrial product, and usually companies leave Camarillo to go to Oxnard, not come from Oxnard to Camarillo. But the ownership realized that they had to get incentivized to get a deal done, and that's kind of where the thought process is going. So they were able to offer them a relatively favorable lease rate. They gave them about 5 months of free rent all up front, and it was in the form of early occupancy on a 7-year deal, and they consolidated from 2 buildings into one larger facility. Next slide, please. These 2 sale deals, were interesting because they're all about growth as well. The first one is the 2280 Ward deal. A consumer goods distributor purchased a building. It was originally a build-to-suit building for Warner Electra Asylum Records, And it's a 200,000 square foot building sitting on 12.5 acres. And there's actually plans that have already been approved for an expansion of another 40,000 square feet onto that building. And so the buyer of this property has basically a need for growth and expansion over the next 3 to 5 years. They saw this potential, and they saw value in that. It's a 30-foot clear building, 30,000 square feet of office, 15 up, 15 down. A good facility for that market area. And the other CL deal is the 2200 and 2900 Madera Road building. Originally was the Bugle Boy headquarters. Countrywide purchased it. Obviously, when Countrywide got taken over by Bank of America occupied it. It was a 2-building facility, about 72,000 square feet as office, 135,000 square foot warehouse. This is one of the few deals where a company from LA County came into Ventura County, a company out of Chatsworth, purchased the property. They came in with a very quick close, 30-day escrow, and all cash offer. That's why the sale rate, I think, is a little bit lower than what it probably would be if it went out to bid to a larger group. And Bank of America is leasing back the office portion for the next 2 years. And that deal got done in August 2010. Next slide. So what do we see for 2011? I think we're going to see a lot of improvement in the industrial sector from a transactional velocity. I think it will continue to outpace the office market for the next year. I do think that one of the key issues in our marketplace, because it's a bit of a more suburban area, is the question of employment and unemployment. There are 2 major manufacturers that are leaving the area at the midpoint of this year, which will probably total somewhere around 400 to 500 jobs. So obviously that will have a dramatic impact. And seeing where we go with that unemployment rate is going to be a major indicator for our transactional velocity. I think lease rates will likely remain depressed for most of the year because we'll see landlords have more competition in the marketplace. Same thing with sale rates, but hopefully by the end of fourth quarter of 2011, we'll start seeing a stabilization and bottoming out of those values and see some significant activity pick up end of the year throughout 2012. Thanks.